can take as long as 2 years.
Get a lawyer.
He doesn't want.
I don't
He
care.
said it's too expensive. Like
No.
$5,000 is way too much. Talking about minimum 2 to 3 Christmas, 2 to 3 birthdays without me. I don't know what to do. I want to go back home. I want to jump in the next flight.
Obviously, I don't want her to go back to Panama. If Gino really wants this relationship to work, he needs to try everything so he can show Jasmine that he's serious. Does Gino understand how much this stuff matters to you? Like, he could make this 100% easier if he could just empathize and understand.
His shoulder I can cry on, but he's like ignoring me. That's why I turn myself off. It's like I'm just quiet all the time, but it doesn't mean that the problem is going to disappear.
But, I mean, definitely, you know, I could have a talk with him. I'm definitely going to tell Dana and have him, you know, like, talk to Gino and, like, knock some sense into him.
You know, when I first saw this scene, I thought to myself, I wonder if Jasmine did this on purpose. I wonder if she tried to, you know, get to make sure that they can speak to Gino, but Gino wasn't listening to her. That's what I generally first thought, you know, and I still do have that thought in the back of my head. But it is still concerning how Gino hasn't taken this whole situation as serious. I know there's some people that say yes, but of course these kids are Jasmine's. Jasmine had a responsibility to obviously put her kids first. And I 1000% agree, because obviously Jasmine has definitely made a lot of choices that have not involved her kids, you know what I mean? Especially when it comes to the money side of things. A lot of the money that she has received from Gino has gone completely to herself. It's not money that she had then, you know, necessarily spread out between herself and her kids, or at least that's not something that we have seen documented anyway. From what we have seen documented, every time that she's had money from Gino, it is to pay for an apartment next to her ex, and also on top of that, it's to then also pay for her cosmetic surgeries and anything else that she could go on with herself. So really and truly, obviously, Jasmine definitely had a choice this whole time to, you know, make sure that her kids were always a thought, and right now it feels as if they wasn't. And also on top of that, to be honest with you, even when they did speak about the whole visa process before she moved, there was definitely opportunities for Jasmine to make it abundantly clear how serious her kids are going to be for her to want to be happy in America to Gino. But that's not something that she really reminded Gino of very often. She was too busy more concerned about whether or not Gino was cheating on her, or whether Gino was doing this, Gino was doing that. So concerned with what Gino was doing wrong, rather than being, you know, being like, hey, just make sure though that my kids are going to be able to come to America. Don't mess this up. You see what I'm saying? And also on top of that, the whole time when she was talking about the whole lawyer situation, Jasmine definitely had the option to say to Gino, listen, Gino, instead of giving me money for this and that, the money you're giving me, use it for a lawyer. There was also the option too. So definitely there's a lot of things that Jasmine could have done, that definitely could have made her kids way much more of a priority, and therefore Gino wouldn't have made, you know, the mistakes that he's made now. But either way though, I will say this, given the fact that Jasmine went from being enemy number one from the family to now obviously being a part of the family, and the family's like, listen, we will help you, you know, obviously get through to Gino. That is a very good thing though, because at least now she knows that Gino's family is on her side, because I guess where she's now, you know, obviously in America by herself, without her family, to know that Gino's family is obviously there to look after her, they're there to obviously love her, that is obviously a good thing, do you see what I'm saying? Because obviously that was one of her big concerns, obviously from the get-go. But hey, that's one thing over. The question is, how are we going to solve, or how are they going to solve this whole child thing?
All this pressure on me, acting like it's all my fault. It's her children.
Yeah.
She's responsible to make sure all this is right as well.
I don't know, man. You know, there's certain things that you want to spend money on in life, and I would say getting her kids over here is one of them.
Absolutely. But this is actually in reference to the fact that his money is all going to the wedding. Obviously, you know, he's just saying to maybe you need to put less money into the wedding and more money into helping to get the kids here. But here's the thing though, obviously this is one of those things where everybody's going to have their own opinions on the matter, which is fine. And all I know is this, I think I said this last week and I'll say it again. The moment that somebody steps into someone else's life that has children is the moment that, you know, you should only be in that person's life if you want to treat those children as if they're own. That's just the grand scheme of it. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, for me personally, if I had been in this situation and I was Gino, with my brain cells, not his brain cells, of course, I would have definitely 100% always said, hey, but what about the kids though? Hey, but make sure that, do you know what, listen, I could give you money for this, but I'm actually going to use it for this because I want the kids, you see what I'm saying? So I personally would have made sure that I would have prioritized that the kids also able to come in. They don't need to go without their mom, because really and truly, some people have this, and this is the thing that's kind of annoying, right? How people pick and choose when to use certain tools. And even though I hear certain people's comments and whatnot from last week, the way I still look at it is that this man has decided to marry somebody that's got kids. He doesn't necessarily have to have the responsibility, but I generally believe that if you're going to choose to be with someone with kids, you should therefore make your own responsibility to then obviously do what you can to, you know, treat those kids as if they're own. Do you know what I mean? To whatever degree that is possible. You see what I'm saying? Because obviously it's not always possible, is it? But you definitely look at them as, listen, I love you as much as you were. You see what I'm saying? So really and truly, it's a sticky one, but
That Jasmine is seriously considering going back to Panama.
These big fights, and she says hurtful things to me.
Yeah.
She always says she's going to go back to Panama, and now she's saying she's going back to Panama again.
But I think she's serious now, Gino.
I think she's serious now, Gino. What? No. Sorry.
She can't wait that long to see her kids. Own up to this in the right way and convince Jasmine that he didn't make a mistake. Until he owns that, I'm going back to Panama. It's got as much to do with you as it does with her missing her kids.
Is she serious this time? Is she really thinking about going back to Panama?
It is concerning to me personally that Gino only wants to take it seriously when he feels like Jasmine's being serious about it. He should have been serious about it from the get-go, but that's just my opinion.
This is scary because if Jasmine goes back to Panama, our whole K-1 visa process is invalid. It's done.
Physically, because when I go through these high levels of stress and anxiety, my alopecia gets worse and I'm losing my hair more than ever. Failure. I want to go back to Panama. Divorce. Everything that I promised to my children, just to tell her it's not going to happen. Everything is over, and it's everything because I have failed, like in all the roles of my life.
I mean, that's crazy about that alopecia. I didn't realize, obviously, stress is a part of alopecia. Typically, I should have realized that his hair loss is related to stress. What am I talking about? But let's talk about this last little bit here. It is crazy though, because this is the first time that we've seen Jasmine on a consecutive level. This is like what, week 2 now of her literally taking accountability and saying that I have failed my kids. Now, what perspective that she's coming from? Now, that one is an interesting one, because we don't know if she's a case where she's generally she knows that she failed them in terms of the fact that, she didn't take them seriously in terms of getting them to America, or if she means that, oh, I failed because I picked Gino to be the one to look after us. It could be anything. Sorry, I couldn't say that seriously. Nonetheless, though, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, it's nice to see her take the accountability, though. You see what I'm saying? But I will say this, though. When it comes to a marriage, it is a partnership. When it comes to a relationship, it is a partnership. So no matter what opinions that we may have about the situation with Jasmine not doing enough to get her kids to the States, and Gino also not doing enough to get the kids to the States, the matter of the fact is, though, regardless of our opinions, once you're in a relationship, it's a partnership. Any responsibilities that you had, any responsibilities that the person had or you had, your responsibilities become together. Obviously, some of them individually, but generally speaking, your responsibilities become together, okay? You are a partnership within that moving forward. So really and truly, these two now, the best thing they can do is become an actual partnership and actually have a serious discussion of, okay, how can we get the kids here? And then obviously see how they can plan forward. If it's a matter of them getting a lawyer, all right, cool. In that conversation, you can be like, okay, cool, I'll find the money some way, somehow, but that means that I cannot give you this, I cannot give you that for the time being. We're gonna have to put a hold on this, and that. You're gonna have to, obviously compromise these things, you see what I'm saying? Cut off your expenses here, there, and there. A partnership comes with conversations, you see what I'm saying, okay? Have those conversations that are necessary. Once you have the conversations that are necessary, hopefully you come to the right decision. And if you can do that, then happy days, you see what I'm saying? So the only thing that these two have to do now is have an actual conversation properly and see what they can do and see what truth they have in front of them. But if it's a case of where Jasmine wants to continue still living the high life, but she still wants to provide the 5K, in that case, screw you. Because at the end of the day, this is a partnership movement. This isn't a situation where should just cop up 5K, but then still give her everything that she needs, because then that's just unrealistic and stupid. But nonetheless, though, and also it means it's still all about Jasmine and just not about the kids. Do you see what I'm saying? Nonetheless, though, let me know your thoughts and your opinions, and we can talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.